We're going to look at some examples here where we've been asked to change the subject of a formula, and you can see our question asks us to make x the subject. Now, what does it mean that something's the subject of the formula? If you look at our example one, you can see p is on its own on one side of the equals sign. It's not p add anything or multiplied or divide by anything, it's just on its own. So that means p is the subject of the formula. Now we want to change it and make x the subject. At the moment we've got x plus 2 on the right hand side. Now we need to change that by getting rid of the plus 2, and in order to do that then we need to do the opposite operation. We need to subtract 2. We do the same on both sides because it's an equation and the equation needs to keep balanced. So if we subtract the 2 that's been added on, that just leaves us with x. On the left hand side we started with p and we subtract 2, and now x is on its own. It's the subject of the equation. If we want to write the x on the left hand side, we can simply swap the sides round. If p minus 2 is equal to x, then this is true as well. It's just the same thing written in a slightly different way. And sometimes it's nice to have the subject on the left hand side. Let's look at our second example. Here we've got, instead of a number, we've got a letter added to x. Now on the first example we had x plus 2, and here we've got the k first and then the x added on afterwards. But remember that if k plus x is m, then x plus k equals m. It's commutative. It doesn't matter which way round those go. So when we're adding, we simply do the same even if x is second. So we've got k added to x, so we need to subtract it. Opposite operation. And now x is our subject. Let's look at a couple of examples which involve subtraction. So what's the opposite of subtract? It's to add, isn't it? So with 3 subtracted, we need to add it on to both sides. So start with j here. J add 3 equals x. And that's our final answer. On number 4, we've got, instead of a number, we've got a letter subtracted. So we don't know what the letter is, but we simply add that value on whatever it stands for. So j plus k equals x. It's the subject of the formula now, as requested. Now, in this one here, we looked at what happens when we have the letter add x, and we decided it doesn't matter which way round it is, it's the same thing. But when we subtract, if we subtract x, then that makes a difference. And so let's just have a look at when we're subtracting x. Easiest way to deal with this is to add the x to both sides. That way we're actually cancelling the x out on the right, but we're getting it on the left. So x isn't the subject of the formula yet. We now need to do another operation. It's added to m, and so we need to subtract m. That leaves us with just the x on the left, on the right n minus m. Let's have a look at multiplication and division next. So first of all, multiplication. What's the opposite operation to multiply? That's right, it's divide, isn't it? So we're going to divide by the multiplier. Both sides. So on the left we've got x on its own. On the right hand side I'm going to use the fraction bar to show division. And there's our answer. This time we've got a letter multiplying by the x, so we'll divide by the letter. Cancels out the m on the left, on the right s divided by m. And finish off, we're going to have 3 divisions. So first of all, x is divided by 5, so we do the opposite. And again, multiply by what the divisor is. Note that when we've got 2 letters multiplied by each other, we tend to put our answer in alphabetical order. So M comes before T in the alphabet, so we write it down like that. Last example is, what do we do when X is the divisor? Well, on these cases it's probably easiest to multiply both sides by the divisor, just like we did on our 8th and 9th examples. So if we multiply by x, x isn't the subject yet. We need to, well, it's being multiplied by g, so we need to divide by g. Now x is the subject.